Imagine you're an ancient human, roughly 300,000 years ago. You've got no claws, no fangs. You can't outrun a hyena. You can't outclimb a leopard. And every single night, you're about to do something that sounds completely insane. You're going to lie down, close your eyes, and go fully unconscious for 8 hours straight, in the dark, on the ground, where basically everything around you would love to eat you. Hold that thought. It gets weirder before it gets better. Every other great ape figured this out a long time ago. Chimps, gorillas, orangutans, they sleep in trees, high up, out of reach. A leopard is not climbing 40 feet up a flimsy branch at 2 a.m. just to say hello. But somewhere along the way, your ancestors climbed down and stayed down, which, from a please don't get eaten perspective, is roughly the worst life decision in the history of decisions. So here's the real question. If ground sleeping is that dangerous, how are you even here right now, watching this, instead of being someone's dinner 400,000 years ago? The answer isn't that your ancestors got tougher. It's that they got smarter about being weak. Together. Anthropologist David Sampson calls this the social sleep hypothesis, and here's the short version. No single human needed to be a great guard. The group just needed to never be fully asleep at the same time. That's it. That's the whole trick. Picture an ancient camp at night. A pile of people curled up together like puppies in a basket, except every single one of them is on a slightly different schedule. One person's just drifting off. One's deep asleep. And one just woke up because a twig snapped somewhere out in the dark, and now they're lying there, wide-eyed, listening to absolutely nothing, very intensely. At any given moment, somebody in that pile is basically on guard duty. Nobody assigned the shift. Nobody sent a memo. It just happens automatically, the second enough humans sleep close together. Sampson has a name for this whole setup. He compares an early human camp to a snail shell. One solid unit, protecting everyone inside it, built entirely out of people, instead of, shell. And this isn't just a theory sitting in someone's notebook. Archaeologists actually found the receipts. In a cave called Sibudu in South Africa, researchers uncovered bedding made of woven grass and leaves, laid out in neat, repeated patches around a central hearth. It's around 77,000 years old, which makes it the oldest known bedding on the planet. And here's the detail that should make you sit up. The plants they chose weren't random. Some of them naturally repel insects. Your extremely distant relatives were literally picking bug-proof bedding, arranging it in a ring, and sleeping shoulder to shoulder around the fire on purpose. That's not an accident. That's a floor plan. Then humans got fire, and the whole game changed again. Fire did the obvious stuff for you, kept you warm, kept the bugs off, but it also did something almost nobody thinks about. It pushed back the darkness itself. For the first time, night wasn't just 12 hours of hiding. You could live in it, talk in it, tell stories in it. Of course, keeping that fire alive took work. Somebody had to feed it. Somebody had to watch it all night so it didn't die out and leave everyone in the dark with the leopards. Yeah, even the fire needed a babysitter. Now here's the part that gets a little unsettling in a fun way. You know that feeling? You're drifting off, everything's calm, and suddenly your whole body jolts like you're falling? Scientists call that a hypnic jerk, and they're still not entirely sure why it happens. But there's a theory floating around that sounds almost too perfect. It might be a leftover alarm system from when your ancestors slept in trees. A sudden loss of muscle tone as your brain powers down could have felt exactly like slipping off a branch. And a body about to fall out of a tree needs to snap awake immediately. Not eventually, immediately. So that twitch you get right before sleep, that might genuinely be hundreds of thousands of years old. Your body still thinks it left the tree 5 minutes ago. Nobody told it otherwise. This isn't just ancient history either. Scientists who study modern hunter-gatherer groups, like the Tsimain people in Bolivia, see the exact same pattern happening right now, today. Families and neighbors gather around a fire in the evening, eat together, talk, and fall asleep within earshot of one another. Almost nobody sleeps alone. One researcher who spends time with these communities says it plainly. People there are almost never truly by themselves, day or night. And ask them in the morning what they heard overnight, and they can usually tell you which animal, how far off, roughly when. Somebody was listening. There's always somebody listening. So think about your own life for a second. Ever notice how an empty, dark house feels different than a dark house with someone else asleep down the hall? Same darkness, same silence, completely different feeling in your chest. That's not you being irrational. That's 300,000 years of programming, still fully installed, still quietly running in the background of your brain every single night. You're not weird for wanting someone nearby when the lights go out. You're just a primate doing exactly what kept your entire species alive long enough for you to exist at all. Somewhere back in time, in a cave, on a bed of bug-proof grass, around a fire somebody was quietly feeding, a whole pile of half-asleep humans kept each other safe without even trying. And in a strange, quiet way, tonight, when you close your eyes, you're still one of them.